Hello, and welcome to Meet Me Monday on Thursday. We have a really special Meet Me Monday for you this week. Um, I am so excited to bring this guest to you today, and I want to welcome everybody that's here today. Hopefully, we have figured out how to join the two channels together. Um, if you are joining me with our guest, would you please type a comment on her channel? I'd like to make sure that the comments are coming in through the other channel. Awesome. It's working. Perfect. That was the problem that we have. Hello and welcome. Um, this is so exciting. I have been wanting to have our guest join me for quite some time, and we've finally been able to coordinate. The way that I do my interviews, I like to hold all questions until the end. If you can please do that. If you have a question that pops up, go ahead and pop it in, but I will not address questions until the very end. I will try to star your question and then go back and catch that at the end. Most of the time, as we're doing the interview, questions are answered while we're doing the interview. And then if they're not, we catch them at the end so that all questions are being answered there at the end. So without further ado, I want to bring my lovely guest back to the screen. I can figure out what I'm doing. This is my first time using, okay, there we go. First time using Restream solo. So without further ado, let me welcome to the stage Dr. Lauren. Let me figure it out. I got to figure out what I'm doing here. I am so sorry. Where did my guest go? We might have lost her. Help. Yeah, Dr. Lauren Baker has changed, hasn't she? Let me see if she had dropped out. Let me send her a message real quick because, like I said, this is my first time flying. Oh, there, that's what happened. She dropped out.
Hello.
I want a different layout here. There we go. That's the layout I wanted. First time using Restream solo. And so I am learning the program. And I appreciate you, Dr. Lauren, for being my guinea pig.
Hey, we got to figure it out sometime, right? Practice makes perfect. Right.
That's right. So, first of all, do you want me to call you Dr. Lauren, Dr. Baker?
I like Dr. Lauren for Animal Ranch Care.
Okay, Dr. Lauren. Okay. For those of you who are from my channel, this is Dr. Lauren. She is with Animal Ranch Care. She is a chiropractor, and you do not only animals, but you do humans as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I discovered you through I'm a Survivor Sanctuary from Suits to Boots, Longhorn Lesters. And I've just been fascinated with everything that you do. It's so incredible. And
thank you.
I love your approach. And by the way, when are you coming to Idaho?
Don't don't know about that one, Karma. That's a little bit of a journey. I'd have to have at least 15 horses and 20 people to make that trip.
Let me see. I might be able to arrange that. No. So, okay. So, the way that I like to do my interviews is I like to start out by finding out a little bit about you as a creator, as a person. I like to find out about the creator themselves first. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, Dr. Lauren, as a person first? Tell us a little bit about you, your background, your family.
No problem. Well, I grew up in near Galveston, Texas. As a kid, I was raised on a horse pasture. I was on in the womb the first time I was on horseback. My mom was roping cows and doing all kinds of things on our horse Susie Q. And when I was 2 years old, I sat on a horse for the first time, and I grew up at the horse pasture. My mom will say that I love eating sand so much. I loved being that naughty kid, doing all the things and hanging out in the hayloft and doing all the things I shouldn't. But I grew up with horses. I was in 4-H. I rode in the 4-H parades. My mom would drop me off at the horse pasture after school and come pick me up right before dark. And
Lovely.
my horse Susie Q was my best friend. She
Oh,
was she was the only person, the only somebody that I could talk to about my troubles.
I
I grew
understand that.
yeah, I grew up in a not I mean it was a great environment, but I grew up in a situation where I didn't feel understood, but I felt that horses and cats and dogs understood me more.
Mm-hmm.
So I then ended up, riding horses, and my horse Susie Q. She died when I was 19, and when I was 19 years old, and I lost her. I couldn't go back into the horse world. It was too traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
I lost her, losing my friend. I decided to go to work for a chiropractic office when I was 18 years old, right before I lost her. And chiropractic became something near and dear to my heart, where I saw patients heal without surgery. I saw
Oh,
patients, thousands of patients. I would say 4,000 people coming in and getting adjusted and helping them heal. And then when I decided to go to chiropractic school, I was 21, and I went to chiropractic school from 21 till I graduated at 27. I have always been I have a photographic memory. I've always been an analytical, and some will
mhm.
say a type A personality like no other. So when I went to college and I became a human chiropractor, everything was wonderful. I got my first office. I worked for several doctors and got my first clinic, opened my clinic when I was 30. And I was floating along and life was great until 2017 when our home flooded during Hurricane Harvey. And
Oh,
we lost our home. And it was so traumatic that the only way that I could pull myself out of it was to, by the grace of God, number one, God, but number two,
absolutely.
I went to volunteer at a donkey horse sanctuary in Plantersville, Texas.
Oh,
And when I got out there, I saw about 450 donkeys and horses, and they were limping and they couldn't turn, and they started having all these pains. And
mm.
in that moment in 2017, I was inspired to go back to school for a 6-month animal chiropractic program in Dallas, Texas. I
Wow.
did that. Yeah, that's
Six
what inspired
years,
me.
6 years for humans and 6 months for animals.
It actually comes out. I did some undergraduate before that, so it actually comes out to about 8 years for human chiropractic, and it
Okay.
comes out to 6 months for animal chiropractic. And the 6 months you learn horses and dogs, and then every other animal you have to go get unique training, either different doctors. You have to shadow them to learn the cows and the goats and the pigs and all the
Oh,
small
okay.
livestock. So I've been a human chiropractor now for 20 years, and I've been an animal chiropractor now, graduated in 18. So it's been 7 years that I've been an animal chiropractor.
Wow. What a journey. That is
Yes.
that is remarkable.
Thank you.
I I love that you talk about how bonded you were to your horse and how your relationship with your horse, Susie Q, was really instrumental actually in your future path.
Hmm.
Um, you and I have a similar background in that respect, that animals have been your go to as far as healing. And I have a very similar background in that um, I didn't have anybody to trust, anybody to go to with the pain that I felt, but I had my cat. And then in high school, I did 4-H and I had my cows.
Hmm.
And I can't tell you how many countless hours I would lay on my calf out in the yard, just lay back on my cow and just pour out my woes. And I had that bond. And animals are very, very healing. That relationship that you can have with them.
Absolutely. Animals are, I believe that after reading Genesis and seeing the way that the Lord, cares for them and how he put us as the stewards for them to be
Mhm.
righteous, I do believe that animals are to help us in this world,
Mhm.
in many ways that we won't fully understand. But I do know that I suffer at times with anxiety.
Mhm.
Since the floods, if it rained, I would be okay, but if it rained a lot, I wouldn't be okay.
Mhm.
And I can go. Nobody knows this. I'm only going to tell this on your channel, okay? And I'm only going to tell this because we're doing something big together. I will find horses wherever I'm at, and I will park next to their field, and then I will reach out to them, and it calms me when I have anxiety. So it's my natural medicine per
Mhm.
se, is that being near a horse has been proven to calm the human heart.
Mhm.
And even if you don't own horses, if you can watch them, if you can be near them in any facet, it will help you.
For me, whoops. For me, it's this right here.
Hmm.
One of my rescues that was born here.
I
Her
love
name's
that.
Happy.
What's her name?
Happy.
Happy.
Here at the end of March, there was a cat sanctuary in Long Island, New York that burned. And it was Happy Cat Sanctuary. And the owner of the sanctuary was named Chris. He went in multiple times to save his cats, and he didn't come out one time.
Hmm.
So one of the kittens from her litter is named Chris, and she is named Happy
Hmm.
for that
In,
sanctuary.
in honor of him.
In
In
honor of
honor
him.
of his mission. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
But this right here is my go-to, my happy place.
So, in the same spirit as you, when you saw a picture of me when I was 1 or 2 or 3 years old, I always had a cat in my arm that I was hanging on to. Uh, Cats are, I would say they're not all willing to be held, but I will say that they are calming for our spirits.
The the grand queen of my rescues, because I have one main mother to the majority of the rescues. She was a hard win, but it is my mission to win every one of them over, to find the key to unlocking them.
Hmm.
And I have. I have been able to win over. I'm finally unlocking two of them,
That's
and
a.
that is a goal, to find what that key is to unlocking them
Mm-hmm.
and winning them over. I may not ever be able to hold them, but to get them to a place where they will receive love, because
Mm-hmm.
there's been a point in my own life where I couldn't receive love,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to unlock them, you know, they have hurts. I know that this grandmom, grandmother of all of them, the grand queen, was abused and has PTSD,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been through that. And so I understand her. And there was a point in time where I couldn't touch her. And now I've got that bond with her. And so I hear what you're saying, where animals can connect with us on a certain level. They can
Mm-hmm.
heal us, but we can also heal them.
There was a study that was published. A lot of people might not know, but I was reading this article, and I don't know where I saw it, but it said that dogs are for physical healing of humans, and cats are for emotional healing of humans.
I
And I
believe it.
believe part of that, the dogs, a patient told me yesterday, if it wasn't for my dog, I wouldn't get out and walk. I wouldn't have the vitamin D, from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't have to move around. And a lot of times when her body hurts, she doesn't want to move, but her dog needs her. And I think it makes us selfless when we have to take care of the needs of the animals, which it says in Proverbs 12:10 is the righteous care for the needs of the animals and the wicked are cruel. And I believe that any any type of person who has had abuse will understand being more righteous by them. But we have to also remember that we have to tell them and guide them on what they need and like how to help them. And I think that they feel that, like you said, I think they feel that they understand once our intentions are felt,
Mm-hmm.
that that is true. And people are all in different stresses. We should never gauge our stress like I'm more stressed than Tammy or I'm more stressed than Lisa. Everybody's stress is uniquely their own, but as
Absolutely.
well everyone's coping mechanism is uniquely their own, as long as it is constructive in helping us to
Right.
cope. Meaning, I think we some people say I don't like animals or I don't want to be around animals. Well, they're just guarded in the sense that maybe they're trying to take care of their own needs and they don't know how to be selfless in that way.
Right. One thing that I have learned, I'm a chronic pain sufferer, and I have been since I was in my early 30s. I'm 54 now. And one thing that I have learned is that, you always hear people say, oh, well, my pain or my this or my that is nothing compared to them. I thought I had it bad. Well, you cannot compare. There is no comparison. What I'm going
Mhm.
through, what to me is a 10, might be a 3 to somebody else. And what their 10 is might be a 2 to me. You cannot compare another person's journey to your own, because it is their unique journey. And the same goes for an emotional journey. My emotional journey is not yours. And what is tragic for me may not be tragic for you. And there is no comparison. And I try to tell people that when I see them make comments like that in chat or whatever. You cannot compare your journey to mine or mine to yours. It is your own unique journey.
Absolutely.
So,
I feel that too. I think that we're all the same at the core. We're all made by the same creator. We all have the same ability to feel, but it's different
mhm,
levels for each one of us, which some
mhm.
people's different levels of trauma. But it doesn't matter. As a chiropractor, I always tell people there are three. there are three types of stress on the body, and
Mhm.
those are physical trauma, emotional thoughts, and chemical toxins. And that's it. And our whole job is, how do we reduce that amount of stress, a physical, emotional, and chemical, on the human frame and on the frame of the animal. So if someone has an animal that went through trauma, they might need more healing. If someone is a human that's been through different types of stress, they need different layers of healing. And health is definitely a journey, and healing is a
Yes.
journey. Yes. But it's how we utilize the gifts of the animals, and to comfort us,
Mhm.
to help us, to comfort us, and how we can comfort them. It's a
Mhm.
symbiotic relationship between a human and an animal.
Right. I know that, like, talking about the Grand Queen, Sweet Caroline, I see that she has PTSD. I also have PTSD. So, knowing my journey with PTSD and seeing hers, I'm able to know when I see her triggers. I know how to give her space and I know how
Hmm.
to bring her out of it.
Yeah.
And so we're able to work together on that and hopefully heal her to be able to be someone's perfect companion.
Yeah. I'm going to give
And
you I want to give you a different perspective. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
oh, you're fine.
So I want to give you a perspective. When you say that she has PTSD, and I'm going to go a little deep with you on this. I think that's a name, right? That's a word that is
Hmm.
given to what we suffered. Like when I was after Harvey, when I had PTSD from being flooded. Um, the base of that, let's go a little deeper. Underneath PTSD is fight or flight. And
Hmm.
inside of our body, we have two sides, right? It's called sympathetic dominant or parasympathetic. And sympathetic is fight or flight, and parasympathetic is rest and digest. So when the cat has the trauma, their fight or flight gets heightened. I'm a prey, somebody's going to get me. They're not going to be okay, because they're always asking themselves if they're in harm, if they're going to have harm done to them, or are they safe. So many studies have been done on horses that at the base of a horse, they don't have a frontal lobe. So they don't think, let me save my hay for next Tuesday so I don't run out. They don't have higher level.
Hmm.
So in that being that they don't have higher level thinking, they have fight or flight. So chiropractic adjustments have been proven to lower that fight or flight and help improve the vagus function, which the vagus nerve is our longest nerve in our body, but it's the one that can get us most stressed out with our heightened fight or flight. So I would
Hmm.
say she probably has really high fight or flight. Getting adjusted, I've adjusted cats, and after one adjustment, they come down in their fight or flight. It is amazing to watch them after they decompress after that adjustment.
Yeah, I can tell that she has been abused because there's certain times where I'll be petting her and then she'll cringe and pull away like she's going to be hit. And teaching her to understand that not every human is bad. Not every human's going to hit her. And that's not
Yep.
my intent, has been the biggest thing with her. And
Yes.
it's been a long journey just getting her to trust me and to even come in the house was hard. It took almost a whole year to get her to that point.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, they do. They do have a very high fight or flight, because of their prey. There's something can always hurt them, whether it be a car or a person or another
mhm,
animal. Their fight or flight is always high. I have two kittens. I showed you. I have four cats, but I have two kittens that are about 8 months old, Chitara and Fiona.
mhm,
Well, I noticed that when Chitara comes into the bathroom, if I put my hand on her, she jumps. Anytime I touch her, she jumps. These kittens have lived with us since they were 2 months old, so 5 months, 6 months, and she still jumps. And I think that it's innate, like there's an innate in them to have a certain amount
right.
of So just saying that I think that there's a level to where they won't even come near a human, but then there's a level where their own owner that or keeper has been with them since they were young. But somewhere inside of them, when they were under 2 months old, they remember survival. They remember being on the
Mhm.
streets and living off of dumpster food, and their mama's not there, and taking a mama away too early will cause them to have that as
Absolutely.
well. So it's pretty amazing, and I don't specialize in necessarily cat adjusting, but I would say that I'm a cat lover for life.
Yeah, they're a special animal, very special, very healing. So,
Yeah.
so
I
what is your uh, what is it that um, let's see, how do I want to word this? What transitioned you from human to animal?
Well, it was really just volunteering and seeing a need for it. I've always been the type of person that if there's a need for something, if there's someone needs something, or if someone needs me, I will learn, I will find out, I will explore every means to help. When I went to volunteer at the Miracle Ranch in Plantersville, Texas, I saw a
Hmm.
need for animals that were suffering, and there wasn't a chiropractor that I knew of that was in that area. And I said, well, I've always wanted to work with animals, so why not go back? But I would say it was the volunteering. And I've said that on my channel a lot, that volunteering is a way that you can have connection with animals, but you don't have to take care of their
Hmm.
responsibilities. So I would say the volunteering led me to go back to school because it was bigger than me. It was for them.
Right. So, what is your balance between human and animal chiropractic care?
How many days do I see each of
Yeah,
them?
yeah.
Animals currently 3 days a week, and humans is 3 days a week.
So about equal.
Yeah, equal now. When I first started my channel, I was 2 days a week animals and 4 days a week people. But as of about a month ago, I've been able to do Tuesday, Friday, Saturday on animals, and then Monday, Wednesday, Thursday for humans. And then my one day off is Sunday.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a busy, big busy schedule. There we go.
Yeah. I saw 72 patients
Oh,
yesterday.
goodness.
On and then on Monday I saw 68. And today I took off work to get a bunch of things done in life. I think it's hard as a business owner. I need business days to be able to go to the bank or go to the accountant, or so that's why I asked you to do today. So thank you for changing Mondays, meet me
Absolutely.
Mondays to meet me Thursdays. But um, I'm trying to find that balance of how to help both. I think that I've served humans for 20 years, and I feel like I'm being called to serve animals while I still have my
Mm,
youth. Um, Animal chiropractors don't usually have a long career working on large animal because it's so physically demanding to adjust a
right.
cow and a
I've
horse.
seen your
So
videos.
most of yeah, it's very physically demanding, and I know that that timer on the animal adjusting will run out faster than the human will, because the animals adjust, pulling a horse's 200-pound leg, to lift it and shake it, or lift it and pull it, push. It's hard on the body. I do a lot of things to help myself stay well, but and I know that in the future, when I'm 65, 70 years old, I could still adjust cats and dogs and bunny rabbits, and things that I could hold in my lap.
Right. I know that it's very demanding to do large animals. My husband does farrier work, and
Oh,
yeah, I know. Yeah,
that's hard.
that's very physically demanding. So, um,
It's very physically demanding for sure. And a lot of the horses, like my largest horse I worked on is 1,800 pounds. That would be a draft. I work on Holsteiner jumper horses, barrel horses, and those horses can run between 1,000 and 1,400. I will say that a lot of people, I've said this before, but I'll say horses help me adjust them. They will, once you adjust one leg, they will lift the other leg. Like, yes, please. Cats, people ask me how I adjust cats, and I always say quickly and with a pair of tactical gloves. I don't adjust
They have
cats slow, but I will
they
say
have murder
it
mittens.
takes me. Yes, I ordered gloves that are scratch proof, but it takes me about 4 humans to adjust one cat.
I believe it. Their little murder mittens are murder. My
Yeah.
legs and my arms, even my belly, are that's living proof. They have murder mittens. And you multiply it by
Yeah, they.
four, and let's see, I have 13 kittens that are 3 months and under, five kittens that are 9 months, four that are 13 months, and shall I continue?
Yeah, so well, you have a sanctuary, and the sanctuary of helping the cats, the kittens and the cats, it speaks to, your love of them from a child and how they
Yeah.
helped you. And it really, people, I think I'm going to be candid and kind of the elephant in the room here. I've always been a candid person, but when I met you on the trial of
Hmm.
doing this restream, we talked about. I said, "Oh, you're a cat lady," and I think that there's a misconception where people will just label somebody, oh, she's a cat lady. And that puts it into like almost a negative
Right.
tone. But what cat lady means to me is somebody who has been selflessly helping cats when they didn't ask for the scenario or the lifestyle that they were born
Hmm.
into.
Absolutely. Not one of these kittens or cats wanted to be born. They didn't want to be born out in the field. They didn't want to be born under my
Hmm.
trailer, and they certainly didn't want to be born out in the elements and without food.
Correct. Yes, that's very true. Cats, they get out of control because they breed every 9 weeks. Cats can get pregnant within 24 hours of giving birth. So it's a very fast breeding cycle, unlike a horse that's 360 days, 350 days. So it's definitely an animal that has to be protected in the sense that we need to spay and neuter, to control the
Absolutely.
population of them. Our county, Montgomery County, actually has a grant initiative where they go around and they get all the cats they can. And in our neighborhood, they rounded up about 92 cats and they spayed and neutered and then they clipped
Mhm.
their ear so that you can tell from a distance, which I didn't realize this until I started doing animal chiropractic was clipping the ear. They can see at a distance that they're spayed or
Mhm.
neutered versus the tattoo on the belly that they used to do
Yeah.
before.
It saves them from being traumatized by being caught again and um, going through an unnecessary surgery.
Yes. I recently talked to a vet tech that said she worked at the vet's office 13 years. And she said, you would imagine all the times they've opened up a female cat to only find out that she's already been
Hmm.
spayed.
Yeah.
So, for sure.
So let's talk a little bit now um, about your YouTube channel and how people can go and see what you do with the animals. So I kind of know the backstory just because I have watched From Suits to Boots, I'm a Survivor Sanctuary, and Longhorn Lester's. But
Hmm.
tell us a little bit about your YouTube journey. What started you on your YouTube journey? How you came up with your YouTube channel? Um, Tell us the story.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I never ever wanted to do a YouTube channel. I did not. My mom would say I'm never not doing something, but I would not say that I wanted to add another job to my already two companies and two jobs. But what I realized was, I'll tell you how it started. So I got contacted by Jamie with a channel called From Suits to Boots. And Jamie hired me to adjust two of her horses named Voodoo and Bucky's. And Jamie asked me if I'd be okay to be on camera because she had a YouTube channel. And I thought, I don't really know if I want to be videoed because I have a body complex, sometimes issues with my weight in different places. And she said, I said, but if it educates people, then I got to get out of my own way. So I let her video me, and then she featured me on YouTube. And I was excited to see so many people complimenting me. And sometimes chiropractic it feels hard and it's thankless, where you might not have a horse thanking you, but you have the
Mhm.
owner. You do a job, they don't tell you if it helped, so you don't know if you're really doing good work. So with that, when I saw the compliments, I went back to Jamie's for another adjusting. She hired me, and I went back out to JL North, one of her other properties, and she wanted me to work on a horse named Storm. And when I was there, we were sitting next to her RV, and she said, "You should make your own YouTube channel. You do interesting work." This is verbatim. "You travel all around the places and see the coolest animals." And she's pointing. You should, really consider doing the YouTube. Now, you might think it's a lot of work, but you stay faithful to it, you will make, some money doing it. And I don't value money, so that's not my thing. I mean, that's not going to do it for me to make the YouTube channel. So what I realized was that doing the YouTube channel and having all of those people see everything, it would actually help chiropractic for the greater good around the globe. So chiropractic for someone in Canada or someone in Germany or someone for a horse in the Netherlands, it's always bigger than you. Second Timothy's 14:15. The Lord uses us as a vessel, not of wood or metal, gold or silver. He uses us in different ways. And that's what I realized was, if I do this YouTube thing, I get to show, yes, I get to show me, but I've got to not shame me and say, oh, I don't look good, or, my body this, my face this, because it's about the chiropractic. It's bigger than me. So that's how the YouTube channel started last fall. I started my first video here in my living room at the house, and I was so nervous I was going to throw up. I had butterflies. I took it. I made the video like 24 times, Karma. I made the video, I made the video, I made the video. One time my hair looked silly, the next time the lighting was bad, the next time there was a dog barking. Whatever it was, like today, it's a lot like today actually. There's a pest control here, and my husband has a machine running inside, and I had to adapt and sit outside in the 100-degree heat, but it's not about me. It's about sharing the message. So I would say that my YouTube channel has come along, and I go live on Sundays for Storytime Sunday with Dr. Lauren. And I have my mom come in and my husband come
It's
in, and it's really
fun.
sharing part of our
It's
life.
nice. I love your
Yeah.
lives when I get a chance to be there.
Thank you. I do I commit to a live every Sunday. I've rarely missed it. I think maybe two times I missed it. I go live from various places like horse challenges or other events, and then I do struggle with getting the videos into the app to make the app. And if people knew what it took into making the thumbnail, making the
Mhm.
video, making the sounding, I mean, I've
Yep.
done all kinds of things. But what I say now in my YouTube journey is, if I can get three shorts, one video, and one live, I will not shame me. Like, I'm doing as much as I can do with all of my hats.
Yeah. YouTube is not a walk in the park. Running a channel is not a walk in the park. I do 2 lives and aim for 1 video a week, and I don't even always get my 1 video a week done. But
Yeah.
that's my goal every week. And it's not easy, especially when you're trying to care for so many cats, and they're living in the house with you. So, I understand, what you're talking about. But Jamie and Lester have inspired so many people. They truly are an
Mm-hmm.
inspiration. And I love that they inspired you to do your channel. Um,
You know,
it's they did have a hand in getting me started as well. I, for a year, listened and listened and listened to Lester talking about all of the details, all the business stuff that goes into creating videos and managing your channel. And, he would talk about um, the music or the graphics or doing this, this, and this. If you're going to put a video out, make sure this, this, and this. And gathering all this information. I had no intent whatsoever of having a channel, but in the back of my mind, I was listening to all of this and holding on to it. So the seed had been planted. And then another channel, a really good friend of most of the people that follow me, Jesse with Lazy Days Ahead, he was pushing someone else to get their channel started. And I was listening to everything that he was saying, and I was thinking to myself, well, if she can do it, I can. And so I set a goal for myself, and I uploaded my first video. It was just a little short video of my favorite cat. Don't listen to what I just said, everybody. I don't have favorites. My favorite cat, Turtle. His name's Thurston Yowl, but I call him Turtle. He's a little turd. And he was eating a banana. He loves bananas. So he was eating a banana, and I uploaded the video. And that was my first video. I uploaded it on my birthday a year and a half ago. And I haven't
wow.
stopped. So I have 2 channels to really thank for getting my channel started, And so when I started Meet Me Monday, it originally was to thank, I was doing interviews with the people who had a hand in helping my channel grow. And I just expanded it to include as many channels as I could to give back to YouTube and the channels that have inspired me. And you're definitely one who has inspired me. Um, and one of the ways that you have inspired me is growing up. Um, I've grown up in Idaho most of my life, and in the pockets of places that we've lived, I guess you could call it a little bit backwards. And some of the ideas are a little different. So there was always a little bit of a negative connotation towards chiropractic care. And I've heard horror stories from people who've gone and gotten chiropractic care. In fact, I've gotten horror stories from my husband about experiences he had with chiropractic care. So one of the things that I've gotten is a new outlook, a fresh approach, a fresh idea about chiropractic care. So for those of us who grew up with bad impressions of chiropractic care, can you give us an explanation of chiropractic care? What is it? What does it do for the human body and the animal body?
Mhm.
And why is chiropractic care something that we should consider looking into?
Mhm. Absolutely. So, chiropractic, the word chiro means hand, practice means by, practic means by. So, by hand, chiropractic. And the word doctor means to teach. So, a chiropractic doctor teaching how to use no medicine, but doing all of the work through our hands. Chiropractic can mean many things, and there's a history behind why chiropractic has morphed into what we now have today. But it originated in September of 1895, with the first adjustment being performed on a deaf man who regained his hearing. Harvey Leelard was his name, and he regained his hearing, and he did not maintain that healing. I will say, I'm not going to act like it miraculously healed him, but it gave him ability to have a return of about 50% of his healing. But what they discovered was is that chiropractic, adjusting and aligning the body, that there was interference at any given level that would create a loss of function to either movements or organs. So what I mean by that is your brain is like a modem that you have for your cable box, and then the cord is like the Wi-Fi, where the signal comes out of the brain and goes to your body
Mhm.
parts. And I'll give you an example. The same nerve that goes to the heart is when we were split in the womb, the Lord made the cells from our heart as the same cells as our left arm. So that's why people will have a left arm pain, men will, before a heart attack, where women may have left arm pain or really bad heartburn, or what they say is heartburn, because the nerve that goes to the organ also goes to the back and it creates either pain or a dysfunction. So when I say you have a thyroid that comes from nerve number 4 in your neck, that nerve, a lot of people think, oh, I have a pain here in my neck, but they don't realize it could affect their thyroid, or there's different functions in that nerve. So if someone has a spinal issue and they say, well, I'm going to go to a chiropractor, I'm going to get the chiropractor, to check me out. But they don't tell the chiropractor everything about them, like they had a car accident at 50 miles an hour and totaled their car. And the chiropractor doesn't take an x ray, and the chiropractor says, well, I'm going to adjust you, right? And you have to do an adjustment fast. Now, that's what a lot of people misunderstand, karma, is that when you do an adjustment, it has to be high velocity, it has to go quick to apply little force. Chiropractic is based off of Newton's law that force equals mass times acceleration. Now, I don't want to get too crazy in that chiropractic is
Mhm.
physics, but I specialize in a lot of chiropractors there's really good chiropractors, there's great chiropractors, but there's some not so
Right.
good. But in any profession, there's not so good medical doctors, and there's not so good dentists, and etc.,
Right.
right? Really bad car mechanics or bad accountants. So, with that being said, doing your due diligence with chiropractic to tell the chiropractor everything. So, tell the chiropractor if you've had accidents or traumas, or if you have blood pressure problems, or you've had cholesterol issues. The chiropractor needs to be completely informed, and then the chiropractor will do an x ray. If it were me, I personally would not get adjusted without having an x ray with the chiropractor
Mhm.
first. I order x-rays on my patients that are 20 and over that have had any car accidents. If they're 20 and relatively have no problem. I do specialize in pediatrics, which we didn't talk about, but I work on newborn babies that have birth trauma. And that's a whole nother category of explaining why I work on babies. But chiropractors need to know everything about what's going on with you. Now, here's how the adjustment works. The nerve is interfered with, the segment is not moving. You can't turn, say you can't turn all the way. You
Mhm.
can't turn. Those segments are not working properly. They're called segment dysfunction. So those joints don't turn side to side properly. You go to a chiropractor after a trauma, you make sure you tell them everything, and then the chiropractor's job is to align the segment so that the segment can work properly. Um, I'll give you an example. You can't raise your arm above your head. And if you
Mhm.
can't raise your arm above your head, you might have a shoulder dysfunction, right?
Mhm.
The neck, like a horse, has six motions: flex, extend, laterally flex, rotate, and rotate. If you can't do those six motions, you could have a segmental dysfunction and need to
Mhm.
see a chiropractor. The chiropractic adjustment must be done at minimum 2 times a week when you're having an issue for the body to learn and correct it. And I think a lot of chiropractors just say, "Oh, you're hurting? Let me do an adjustment. I'll see you if it's not any better." And it's not really a good approach. We need to look at things as preventative. I don't say when the fire alarm's going off, now I have a fire, now I should be prepared. I say, let me have the fire alarm and prevent fires so that the fire alarm doesn't go off.
Right. Right. And have the
So
things in hand to combat it if it happens.
exactly. Chiropractic is a preventative. It is very preventative. You can go to the chiropractor whether you have a problem or not and get a chiropractor to check you and make sure that your segments, check your motions, check your reflexes. Now they have on the news with Dr. Mercola and a lot of these doctors where if your grip strength is not good on both hands, it's early signs of brain problems, right? So you
Mhm.
have to have your checks in order to know what's going on. Now, with chronic pain, like when you said karma suffering with chronic pain, there's a lot of things that can cause the pain to overfire. Now, that would be up to the chiropractor, who's more of a holistic family practice chiropractor, that will talk about your nutrition. Maybe you're vitamin D deficient. Maybe you need, lab work to test your nutrition. And there's a lot of components like physical, emotional, and chemical. What I told you
Right.
earlier. The chiropractor can help with the physical. With the emotional, it will help you with your fight or flight so that you can adapt and you can heal, from things like it's been proven that chiropractic heals anxiety, that 82% of people getting adjusted will actually have lower anxiety, and it's been proven that chiropractic can reduce blood pressure by 20 millimeters of mercury, meaning if you get an adjustment of your upper neck, and you can search that, that's proven. So, in that sense, I sum it up, Karma, that
Mhm.
chiropractors are about better spinal health. Chiropractors are about more of a holistic approach to reducing your stress and improving your health. And I believe chiropractic is misunderstood because of some people not explaining to people. The main problem in chiropractic profession is miscommunication or
Mhm.
not informing people of the side effects or what the benefits are.
Right. And to be perfectly honest, those few that are out there who are the not so good and the stories coming out of their offices being
Mhm.
spread, because I know that that's a lot of what I heard growing up and for many years was all of the negative stories, all of the, well, I went to the chiropractor and they messed up my spine. I went to the chiropractor and they did this, and I went to the chiropractor and blah blah blah, whatever the story was, and it was all negative. And so for decades, I had negative connotations towards chiropractic care. And it's only in recent years that I've started to think, well, maybe chiropractic isn't the negative that I've always heard. Maybe I need to take a fresh approach to my view of it. And then
Uh,
meeting you, it's
mm.
kind of, it's solidified that, yeah, I need to take a fresh look at this for myself.
Well, I told you in the beginning of this that I'm a type A, which means that when I see you as a new patient, I do a nerve scan that is three-part nerve scan to find out if there's something going on that I can't feel with my hands. And I do x-rays and I review all of the findings and then I make a plan. And I've turned away people from chiropractic if something is so severe, they're compromised in their functions, I work with the surgeons. It's very rare that I don't want to send people to surgery, but there are times when people need it. I think the best thing about a chiropractor that's really good is when they know to adjust you or they know not to adjust you. If you
Right.
have a condition that could be made worse by it, like for example, say you have high cholesterol, you have plaquing in your arteries, you have 4 medications that can cause bleeding, you have had previous neck surgery, there may be things that I'm like, no. But
Right.
that's when the activator tool comes in. You know, the activator tool, I use it on my own mother because at a certain age, say 65 and up, you're going to need to do gentle chiropractic, which can be done with an activator, which I've told many people, activator.com will show you chiropractors around the world that use an activator, and it doesn't involve popping. You know, it involves a tool. But chiropractic can include electric stem therapy, it can include water therapy, ice there. There's so many definitions under what chiropractors can do. I think it's like a sonic slushy. I've said this for years. You can make 6,427 combinations of a slushy at Sonic now. And a
Mm-hmm.
chiropractor has 172 or say 140 techniques they can use. A chiropractor has thousands of modalities they can use, like machines, like
Mm-hmm.
decompression or traction or, laser or, so many things. You will never find two chiropractors that are exactly the same. I haven't.
So that brings me to another question. Um, how do you go about selecting the right chiropractor? Because I know that right here in Caldwell, there are at least 5 or 6. And how would I go about choosing the right chiropractor for me? I have fibromyalgia, I have complex regional pain syndrome, I have osteoarthritis, I have Sjogren's, I could go on and give you a list of everything. I've been in a couple of car accidents. Um, you know,
Okay. So I hear that quite often, especially as we get older. You're not going to find someone over 50 that's not dealing with some sort of degenerative condition. Now, the word degenerative means loss of life of something. Like if you have
right.
degenerative joints, their joints are crushing down, right? If you have a surgeon, I can never say that word. Say it for me again. So
Sjogren's.
Sjogren's, thank you, Sjogren's. If you have conditions like Sjogren's or fibromyalgia or those kind of conditions, you would want to find a chiropractor. And I'll give you the example. I'm going to give you three. Humans can only remember three things at a time. We have short attentions. So here's 3 ways to pick a chiropractor. Ready? Number one, search a chiropractor in your area and look at the reviews. If they have no reviews, I probably would be worried. Number two, out of those reviews, don't go with the highest one because sometimes they do certain things to get that highest one. Call each one of the ones that are highest rated and tell them the condition that you have and ask them if their doctor has seen that before. And then you can also ask for the doctor to do a pre consultation or like ask some questions to the doctor to decide if this is a good fit for y'all. And then lastly, go into the office that you choose. Maybe you go to two and you do get an opinion from both of them. And then from that opinion, you ask them what they would do to help to treat you and go with your gut. So number 3 is go in and meet them and go with your gut on what they're telling you they can do to help.
Okay. All right. That's that's good. It's good to know. That's one of the biggest things that's kept me from pursuing chiropractic care, especially with complex regional pain syndrome. Um, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So you know that even a pinprick can cause a spread.
Yep.
And the last thing I want to do is go to a chiropractor and have a spread of this horrific disease.
If you were my patient, I would recommend a functional nutritionist before you ever started chiropractic care. So, some people need functional nutrition, which means that you're treated with vitamins and minerals and you're improving in your core base nutrition before you ever go to a chiropractor. Um, I have been under the care of a functional nutritionist for the past 6 months now, but I've
Hmm.
always used functional nutrition doctors because I can go to a medical doctor and they can give me four medications, but I don't want to be dependent upon a lifetime of medications. Imagine at 46, which I'm 46 now, they say you're going to take a beta blocker, a thyroid medicine, a progesterone, and a testosterone replacement pellet. There's another way. There's another way to help those type of things without
Yeah.
medication. My grandmother, Geneva, who a lot of y'all seen
Yeah.
my tattoo here for Geneva, she was 93 years old, not taking a single medication her entire senior life. She treated things with cinnamon. She treated, vitamin C. She just did everything natural. So I will say that she was my biggest motivator that life doesn't have to be about
Hmm.
medication. There are some medications like
Oh,
metformin that will save a diabetic's life. And there's some medications, so in saying
yeah.
that, Karma, there are medications that will save a human's life, and that's when we need them,
Right.
But if they're not going to save your life, like, will a beta blocker stopping palpitations save my life? No, all it does is puts a band-aid on top of a palpitation,
Yeah.
for that. And that's my
Right.
opinion. For me personally. I had palpitations and I found out they were linked to electrolyte imbalance and that I was really dehydrated with adjusting horses. So getting my electrolytes improved and my minerals improved helped the palpitations to go
I
away.
have actually managed to get off of a lot of medications and improve my health over the last several years. Um,
Good.
as recent as five, 6 years ago, I was still using a walker and a cane. As recent as a year ago, I was still on a cane. I don't
Wow.
use a cane hardly ever anymore. So I've done a lot.
Oh,
So
praise
I've done
God.
a lot of hard work to get myself off of those mobility aids. If I need it, I use it, but
Hmm.
I don't use it if I don't need it. Um, but I do. I have switched over to a lot of more natural things. A lot of I've gotten completely off of antidepressants. All I take is L-theanine. Um, swear by it.
Good.
Uh,
Yeah.
that one thing has replaced max doses of really nasty antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds. Um,
Yeah. Well, it's really important to also mention that there's a lot of ways to functionally help someone with vitamins and minerals and all that, but you need to have someone coach you through that. So, to find someone who does functional medicine, I would type functional medicine near me, or I would search, ask around on social media, like, hey, who do y'all use for functional medicine? But it's starting to become more widely used that people want to have more than their PCP, their primary care physician. But it's very important to not just, and I want to make sure I say this for the video, to not say, well, she took that, I'm
oh,
going to take that. And I
absolutely.
think we're in this age of like Facebook is a doctor now. Like you go to Facebook and everybody diagnoses
Yeah,
everybody, and it's quite dangerous. I think the most important thing is find functional nutrition and don't stop until you find a doctor that's willing to listen. Maybe your value is that you don't care about the nutrition. You want to take the medicine, not you, but I'm
right.
saying the viewer may want to take the medication because it fixes it really quickly and it's there. It's a tool. But just know that everything in life has side effects. For me personally, I didn't want to take thyroid pills like my dad for the rest of my life. I did reverse my hyperthyroidism. I'm normalized now after treatment. But I believe that health is your unique
Mhm.
journey, just the way that health of your mental health and your traumas and things like that. But back to saying that horses and animals and cats and all those things are one of the vehicles, one of the ways that our life is improved, whether it be medicine, whether it be vitamins, whether it be animals. I believe, my husband and I believe this, that there are so many components of healing that you could say maybe it's taking a 10-minute walk every night, or maybe it's deep breathing exercises before bed. You know, there's just so many. And those are some of the things that I like. I like to, I like to get out and move my body. I like to play the piano. I like to sing, or, like just different things. So in the truck, you will quite often find me singing between ranch
So
jobs.
you play the piano.
I do. I was a concert pianist, and I played at Baylor, and I got a scholarship to UT San Antonio for a little bit for playing concert pieces. And I have a piano here in the
Oh,
house, and I've been wanting to play, and I keep thinking of playing more and doing more hobbies. So I went and got my nails taken off, so I have
you
no
did?
more horse scratching butt tools.
Oh, wow.
So I have no nails and long nails so that I can play the piano again. So
That's,
I will probably be doing that. I'm gonna video myself playing the
you
piano.
can get those attachments, like little tips that you can slip over the tips of your fingers so you can keep scratching horse hiney.
Oh, my mom sent them to me. She searched them out and she said there's
Yeah.
little tips. And I was like, I have those two silver tools that I use that are called my reflex hammers. So I can use them, but there's something about feeling through my
Yeah,
nails, whether the horse is like tucking or not tucking.
right. I was looking, I have a tool that I love for my back. There it is. I got like a 5 pack of these on Amazon one time, and it's telescopic, so you can stretch it out.
Oh, neat. That's a little
Yeah,
scratcher. That's
I love
cool.
it. And it's small enough you can
That's
stick it in your
awesome.
purse if you really want to. When you put it, shrink it down. Otherwise, it stretches way out. So,
That's awesome. I have I have progressive glasses, so I have to look at the bottom of
oh
them.
yeah.
So don't think I'm being weird.
Just
That's awesome. I see it.
oh, it feels so good
I
when the
see
back
it.
gets to itching like it's starting to do now.
That's
But
awesome.
anyway, that's so cool that you're a concert pianist, though.
I love playing Beethoven. I
Oh,
play
nice.
Beethoven and Chopin and Bach and a couple of.
Yeah, I love classical music. I grew up
It's
listening to it
fun.
with my dad.
That's awesome.
So,
I love listening. I love hearing the piano. It touches my heart. But see, there's another thing, like playing the piano as a kid. I started playing at 9, so got a piano and I would just sit in front of it until I could perfect everything.
yeah. Well, is there anything else before we open it up for questions? Because I know there's going to be people wanting to ask you questions. Um, is there anything else that you would like to share with us about chiropractic care or about your channel? Um,
Well, I will say that one thing that stands out to me about what I would like to share about chiropractic is you do not have to have a pain, or an animal does not have to have a lameness or anything wrong. Nothing has to be wrong. Everything can be right, and you can still get chiropractic to make sure that your function is good. I do that nerve scan test, and that nerve scan test is called an insight. Insight, INSIGHT.
okay.
Insight. scan. And if anybody wants to check that out, there's a website called Insight, and then it's Chiropractic Leadership Alliance, insightcla.com. But if someone wants a nerve scan near them, you can search it on that page and you can find you one.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to let everybody know that you can drop your questions in chat now, and we will start answering questions. But I do want to ask you
Hmm.
about the different animals that you do adjustments for.
Okay.
Um, what are some of the different animals that you adjust? I know you do cows, horses, cats, dogs.
Yeah, so here we go. I adjust. I'm going to start from the biggest and go down. Horses, cows, pigs, sheep, goats, donkeys, dogs, cats, bunny rabbits, chicken, turkey. That's about it.
Now, what's the most unusual animal that you've adjusted?
So far, it's been a chicken. Believe it or not, it's been a chicken. I say I say chicken because the chicken is the most like foreign to most people. Like a chicken gets adjusted.
So you haven't ever done a snake?
Oh well, no, no, I will not be doing that. Mm-mm.
Oh, come
No,
on.
no, no. I remember. I remember Genesis. I remember Genesis, and that little serpent can stay right there. I don't care if he's aligned or not.
What about guinea pigs?
I've never done one, but I imagine they're a lot like a bunny rabbit. That would be so fun. One of my colleagues adjusted a giraffe, and one of my dreams is to adjust a giraffe. But maybe if God could send me a baby giraffe so I could start small.
Would you ever adjust Carl?
No, my life insurance isn't big enough.
For those of you on my channel, you don't know who Carl is. Carl is what is he, about an 8 foot?
Eight
Eight,
foot male ostrich with talons.
yeah. And yeah, you don't want to mess with Carl. He is on I'm a Survivor Sanctuary, Longhorn Lester's From Suits to Boots. And he's quite the character. Um,
No, I met Debbie. So Debbie is the female ostrich, and Debbie, she shakes her dress at me and she lets me pet her feathers. And ostrich has 17 neck vertebrae, where as a human, a dog, a horse, everything else has 7. So I just want to check all 17 of her little bones.
okay, we have our first question that I found. Well, where did it go? How do I get them back? There it is. How do you find a chicken chiropractor? I have a hen that needs to be adjusted. And this little hen has quite the story.
Oh, so it's going to be challenging. You will search the internet for animal chiropractor near me. Or you can go to hold on, I'm gonna screw it up. Animal chiropractic, animalchiropractic.org or animalchiropractic.com. I can never remember if it's .org or .com, but you can go to the animalchiropractic.com. I think it's .com. But anyway, you can go there and then you want to see who's nearest you and then give them a call and ask them if they've ever adjusted a chicken.
There you go, Glenda. Glenda, Grace and Fire with Glenda, is my co host on Tuesdays.
Oh, nice. Hi,
Yeah,
Glenda. Nice to meet you, Glenda.
she is so much fun. Her little hen, um, I can't remember the whole story, but she had a brain injury of some sort and was walking backwards. And her husband is a wounded warrior, and she is his caregiver. And together, the two of them have formed a bond, the hen and her husband. And uh, the hen has healed and no longer walks backwards all the time,
Oh, that's good.
but every now and then she still does. And she has wanted to get her adjusted to see if it would help her. Here we go. Kendra with Consume the Goodness. Would being adjusted help our very high anxiety, previously abused pit bull?
Absolutely. So I've seen dogs that have that and then they get adjusted. It helps to down regulate their fight or flight. So what that means is put a brake pedal on the fact of how they feel. Now, you would want to make sure that they have a soft muzzle. I use soft muzzles. They're like a fixed muzzle, but it's not hard. It's soft. And then you put a muzzle on them because the most common way that animal chiropractors lose their fingers is from the stories I've heard are pit bulls. Now that's because a lot of them are stereotyped, put down, treated poorly, and they're all put into one category, of their demeanor. But with that being said, dogs would need to have 3 to 6 adjustments in order for the anxiety to come down.
Okay. Um, any other questions for Dr. Baker? You have at your fingertips right now an opportunity to get your questions answered about chiropractic care.
Hmm.
Take advantage of
Absolutely.
this opportunity, whether it's about
Nope.
animals
No.
or yourself.
No question is stupid. Every question is important because it came from you. So if you have any questions about chiropractic, about animals, about me personally, if you want to know why I wear the color lipstick I do, or it doesn't matter what the question is. I actually love questions. I've always been that way. I love giving answers. Should senior dogs have regular chiropractic services? Absolutely. So I actually am going after this to work on a senior dog. Senior dogs need the motion and it does wonders for their mood. As soon as a chiropractor stretches their legs and moves their joints, they take a nice nap and they just get youthful. My oldest dog that I'm adjusting right now is oldest dog I'm adjusting right now is 19-year-old terrier, and he seems like he needs to go down and be pass on to go with the Lord, but as soon as I adjust him, he's back to his old self. So it really helps their spirits and their movement. Uh, I think there was a question. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Bunny Mom wants to know, did you say you treated rabbits?
Yes, I have adjusted show rabbits before, and usually for a leg or a hopping issue. And it most commonly is their back end, and they can misalign their hips.
Okay. And what question did I miss?
There was a question about a service dog.
Oh,
Could
no.
chiropractic?
Glenda was just saying that she has seen chiropractic care be amazing for her husband's service dog. He
Yes,
gets chiropractic care.
that's
She
great.
just told a story about the chiropractic care on Tuesday during Talk About It Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
Really, really awesome.
I can't see any of the comments, so if anybody say anything, my glasses don't let me see it well.
Kendra says, do chiropractors ever visit people in nursing homes? My mom had multiple strokes about 4 years ago and has been in a bed ever since.
I have a colleague. She does Chiro on the go. And there are mobile chiropractors that will go wherever you want. So I would say yes, they're not going to be as common, but you could search for mobile chiropractic services near me, and you could find someone that way. You can also call the board. A lot of times your state's board, like Texas Board of Chiropractic Examiners, will have a list of people who don't have a physical location and they're mobile. So, but they, yes, they would go to nursing homes. It's a little harder because we can't screen them for any problems, like have x-rays done or things like that. But I'm sure they could use an activator or stretch them or something to help their motion.
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm. Very good question. Any other questions? I can't see, so.
Yeah, there's not anything coming in that I see just yet. Maybe they're typing.
Yes. Well, I'm going to see a dog that has lost the ability to lift his head up and he can't jump anymore. And he's a 8-year-old poodle. An 8-year-old poodle has lost the ability to lift his head up. So I'm gonna go work on him. She said he's been much better since his first adjustment, but today's his follow-up adjustment.
So what has been one of your most challenging uh, patients that you've worked on and seen positive outcome?
A bull, about a 1800 pound bull. He was down in the pasture and wasn't able to get up. He was having trouble walking, and I thought, there's no way that I'm going to do any adjustment. I'll be like a tick on a dog's butt trying to adjust this bull. And I finished the adjustment on him the best of my ability, and they said he returned to normal life.
This is the story I was just saying that Glenda talked about on Tuesday.
Yes. Chiropractic care and laser therapy was amazing. Absolutely. Hand in hand, chiropractic can do any, like tools, any kind of things. I'm actually going to go show a veterinarian about that in 2 weeks. I go to meet a veterinarian to show her what I do. But chiropractic and laser go good together.
Bunny Mom says, "Thank you. I didn't know animal chiropractors treated rabbits. I have a rabbit rescue, and I had a young rabbit that could have used care from someone like you."
Yep, absolutely. If you find a chiropractor that adjusts animals, they can adjust a rabbit.
Wanda Buchanan would like to know, will a chiropractor still try to adjust someone who has a fused cervical neck and fused lower back? I feel like I need to go so bad.
A chiropractor will use an activator on those areas, or I myself will adjust above the fusion and below the fusion, but not on the fusion. So chiropractic can be so specific. Like if she has a fusion in the middle of the neck, I can do a very gentle little adjustment in the upper above it. And she can get traction where the chiropractor tractions the neck, but no, they will not adjust the level of the fusion, but they will use above or below. And if I were you, I would look on activator.com and find a doctor near me that uses activator, or find a doctor that can do what's called diversified adjusting. You can call those offices and say, do you do a diversified technique or do you do activator technique, and see if you can find one that does those both.
Okay, that's a really good question. Because I think that a lot of people feel like, well, my spine is in such bad condition, or I've had a fusion, or I have, like some people might have a rod in a portion of their back, and well, I can't go because of this. Like I have two artificial hips. Maybe they have artificial joints, and there for a long time, I thought, well, I have CRPS. There's no way that I could go because they're going to want to touch where I can't handle touch. And no,
I I think you want to also remember family chiropractors will do more than an auto accident chiropractor. So if you see someone marketing as personal injury, rehab, car accidents, those are more like trauma clinics. You need someone that's more like a family chiropractor that wants to help people who are Medicare
Mhm.
age, wants to help people who are suffering chronic disease. So you just have to keep looking, like literally ask everybody, post on Facebook, search in the Google, chiropractor near me, and then find the list of 16 or 6 chiropractic offices and then comb through them, you know.
Yeah. Oh, Kendra, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Glenda says, is the activator the same as Atlas Chiropractic Services?
No, Atlas Chiropractic would be called upper cervical chiropractic. Activator is a tool that we use to click on various portions of the body while checking leg lengths. So if your leg length's one shorter, the chiropractor will bend them up and apply pressure to different parts of the body to see if that leg lengthens. They're trying to balance the posture through various reflex points that they put the activator tool onto those points if they're proven to be misaligned.
Okay. Um, Rebecca says, I go to a chiropractor that uses wedges and actuator to adjust me much easier than having someone twist and pop your body.
Yep. Wedges are very good. They're called blocking. That's a technique called the Cox technique or pelvic blocking technique. Those are lifting the body and letting the body work for you and doing the activator. I think she meant to say activator. Activator and wedges is low risk and not as traumatic as twisting the body. So that's very good that you're doing that. That will help you a lot.
Okay. All right. Glenda says that her husband had Atlas and she didn't realize it was different. So that's
Yeah.
good to know that there's different terms that sound the same but are truly different.
Yes,
You know,
the atlas, I'm sorry, the atlas is the first vertebra. That's the other word for it. So the first vertebra right below your skull bone that can misalign different ways, that's the atlas. And so if the doctor is calling it Atlas chiropractic, they're working on that first vertebra.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of times it's just like certain areas call Dr. Pepper, for example, soda. Other people call it pop, and still others call it Coke, you know. And so in the medical world, I think also we hear one word and they use another, there's another word for the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we get confused. So it's good to clarify that. Do we have any other questions? Um, this is a great opportunity to find out anything that you've ever wanted to know about chiropractic.
If you're sitting there and you're looking at the thread and you're wondering what you could ask or what could help you, it could simply be what's plaguing you, what's afflicting you. What can chiropractic help ear infections? Can chiropractic help constipation? Can it help stomach problems? And the answer is yes. Every affliction that the human body goes through in some form of fashion deals with the nerves, but it also deals with the body alignment. So chiropractic since 1895 has been helping people with all kinds of conditions.
I was so fascinated when you were talking about the gentleman who had part of his hearing restored.
Hmm.
We have genetic hearing loss in my family. Um, my mom's side of the family has had hearing loss forever, and um, my grandma had hearing loss. Most of my mom's family, her siblings had hearing loss. My mom had hearing loss. I have hearing loss. My son has hearing loss. He's had hearing loss since he was a baby. And to think that even a portion of it
Hmm.
could be restored, that that was just like, wow.
Well, you have to ask yourself if the first vertebra, the nerve from the first vertebra, controls hearing, TMJ, face, eyes, is the nerve that goes from my spine and passes to the face. Could it be blocked or misaligned, or what's going on with it? There's no guarantee of a result, obviously,
Oh no.
but the fact that chiropractic could even help, like at a baby. Let me tell you a few things that you might find interesting. Yesterday, I had a lady come in. Yesterday, I was talking to a mom, and her baby has constipation. The baby only poops one time a week.
Ooh.
She said, but it's normal for the baby to poop one time a week, so says the pediatrician. I said, it's not normal to poop once a week. It may be common to poop once a week, but it's not normal. I said, you need to have me check the baby out. She said, okay. She said, I had no clue. So she scheduled an appointment for Monday. But I know that there's another little boy, 2 years old, that was pooping once a week, and I adjusted him 3 times. And the grandma brought him back in yesterday, and she said, he's going every day, and everything's fine now. So, and that's just chiropractic, nothing else. No prune juice, no fiber, none of that, So everybody doesn't know what their potential is or what they could gain from chiropractic until they try.
Yeah. I love this. Wanda Buchanan says, "Wow, I did not know that. That is awesome. I really do need to find one now. I have fibromyalgia as well, along with a list of other things." I'm right there with you, Wanda. Um, I've been putting it off because I just didn't know how to go about finding the right chiropractor. And now I feel like maybe I can do this. Maybe I can actually find someone and not
Yeah.
wind up worse, you know?
Well, the thing is every chiropractor is not the same, right? And
Right.
that's what I think is that what happened is in 1991, a lot of chiropractors started working they started working with like auto accidents and back pain and, slip and falls. And I think that I believe, and I know this true, that chiropractic, sorry, my hair I'm so hot. Sorry, hold on. I think that chiropractic is was about healing. Like if you weren't well, you went to the chiropractor, and they used to have, from what I've been told, you would go to somebody's house and they would have chiropractic parties or like chiropractic nights where the chiropractor would work on all 30, 40 people in the neighborhood. And chiropractic got bigger and bigger and then got asked to join insurance. And when it got asked to join insurance, then it started with car accidents. And there was a distortion of what chiropractic really was. And chiropractic's always been musculoskeletal, body alignment. But I think that it was more like, oh, my dad hurt his back, went to the chiropractor, and now he's worse. The reason why dad was worse when he went to the chiropractor is because he only went when he hurt really bad, and he only went one time. Chiropractic is about going before something becomes a problem, really. I mean, if you start to have a little back pain, it's like a 5 out of 10. You get it checked out. But typically, not all men, but a lot of men that came into my office will say, I wait till it's really bad. I wait till I almost need the hospital. So,
Glenda says, would chiropractic services help someone who just found out they have scoliosis and they're midlife?
Chiropractic will improve motion of the scoliosis. Chiropractic will help with the movement of the areas above and below, and even help with all of that movement in between. But chiropractic will not get rid of the scoliosis completely. I have seen a 52-degree scoliosis where they wanted to do surgery. The lady had a flipped uterus because of it. She was able to conceive two children with doing 36 visits of chiropractic. So chiropractic will help. It will help, but it will not get rid of the scoliosis completely.
So I have a question. I kind of talked a little bit about our genetics. Um, my son has had a lot of bone issues related to our genetics, and he has one leg that is about an inch and a half short. He has to get his shoe built up. He's had multiple surgeries on his hip um, to correct rotation. It was a highly specialized surgery that he went through. Uh, Lots of things going on there. He also had Sherman's kyphosis when he was younger, and he has so much back pain. Um, a lot of it comes from walking uneven. He has to wear his shoes almost all the time because of the leg length discrepancy. Um, how could chiropractic care help him with? I'm talking. He's got a lift like that on his shoe.
Does he have the does he have the Dowager's hump on his upper back?
No, not yet.
So chiropractic helps the nerves to the skeletal system to have no interference, right? No interference. Where you're getting adjusted and the signals are 100%. So if you see someone that typically rounds over
Right.
like this, their nerves are their skeletal system is misaligned and it's compensating like a branch on a tree. If
Mm-hmm.
the tree trunk is straight and everything's lined up, you're not going to start, there's genetic components, obviously, like scoliosis can be five different reasons. You can be because of genetics. That's not as common. Most commonly, it's hormonal. It's structural hormonal, where something's like an endocrine disruptor, something's disrupted it, and it always happens around puberty. So you have a puberty scoliosis, an environmental scoliosis, where someone lifts hay bags to the right their whole life and they develop it. You'll have a genetic component of scoliosis, but most commonly it will be hormonal related. That's why they check kids in school. With your son having these issues, it's not too late. It's too late to reverse. It is too late to reverse degeneration. It's not going to fix it or reverse it, but it's never too late to make improvements in his posture, his alignments, his leg, his movements, his vagus nerve. It's more than just completely structural. It can also be functional. So if he can do,
Yeah.
the chiropractic could help with that part of the functional component.
Okay. Um, he also has something that we've addressed it with doctors, and the lab work that they do doesn't show anything at this point for years, and I mean years. He's 34 now. It he he can just take a walk outside and just sweat buckets, and it doesn't matter what time of year. Um, it could be the most comfortable temperature for everybody else around, and he's sweating buckets. He drinks and drinks and drinks and drinks, and he's still thirsty.
So what you're describing is, I don't know his specific situation, but what you're describing is a thermal dysregulation. The word dys means abnormal. So he's thermally dysregulating, and that's controlled by our hormones. And our hormones can be interrupted by various things in our life, like environmentals, products, foods, processed food. So like junk food, cookies, chips,
Mm-hmm.
all of the things when we combine together, there's some chemical or physical issue. So you have to start by deducting them, get the physical checked and then get the chemicals out of his body and, start to work at it that way. When you say genetic, it leads me to believe that a lot of people think, oh, this is genetic, but you can still change your neurology. You can
Mm-hmm.
still change and do certain things. Like my dad had a double hip replacement, but I don't have any hip problems. My dad worked in a chemical plant for 42 years, and chemicals travel to hips and they can eat them away, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of environmentals and a lot of things we can change. So I would encourage your son, being 34, to look into chiropractic, because you can always improve from where we are. I mean, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing and getting a different result.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I would say that healing is ours. We know that Jesus said that. We just have to pray about it, go to chiropractic, and do something different than we've done always. And I think of it as your son will be 55 one day, and he could be at a chiropractor in those 20 years, or he could not be in a chiropractor in 20 years. And I would hope that he would be with a chiropractor for 20 years. I have my patients, I have 150 members in our office that are coming every month to see me for prevention. And my goal is to get that number to 250 in the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, hopefully
Doing,
he's listening and he hears your advice.
yeah,
Takes.
something's better than nothing. And my husband and I live by always try to be the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry, meaning if your environment in your food and everything around you just feels like it's not very healthy or not very clean, we just have to do the best we can, make different decisions one day at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Whoop. Yeah, that's what I want to do. There we go. Glenda says, "Oh my gosh, you told me more about scoliosis than the spine doctor ever said."
The spine doctors say there's no help, and a lot of times you have to do the Harrington rods in order to correct it. But there's so much out there. I'm telling you, there's a client I just went to. Her daughter had cables put in her spine. Follow me here. Not rods, but cables. And the cables had a screw that then pulls and cranks the spine straight through like some sort of floating cable network. There's so much out there. We just think that we have what's limited to our environment, but if you
Wow.
get started looking, DuPont is making plastic discs that go in the spine, and you put a plastic disc in your spine, and your recovery is full motion, no problems. So, I mean,
Wow.
I think we just have to be willing to travel. Number one, we have to be willing to go to some of the greatest hubs for surgery or cancer or whatever it is. But with the spine treatments, people are going to Chicago, people are going to Dallas, people are going to other places where the doctors offer these amazing, treatments. So if you have to drive an hour to the chiropractor, it might be worth it. If you're in small town and there's not a good one around you, you might be worth taking that drive once a week. At minimum, go once a week at first, at minimum.
Okay. Let's see. Wanda says, "I've also had 24 surgeries as I was a passenger in a high-speed rollover crash in
Oh,
2008."
oh,
Ooh,
that's
wow.
horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Bronson
Well, I
Bronson
would
says,
recommend.
"Yes, I was listening." That's my son.
Okay,
Met him on Sunday.
that's wonderful. Well, I'm glad that he hears it, and if for no one else, then I'm glad he heard it.
Yeah. Wanda says, I have tremendous pain in my mid back. Do you think that's because of the two fusions? It hurts to vacuum, do dishes, everything like that.
The body's having trouble communicating. That's Glinda, right?
Wanda, the one
Wanda.
in the high speed rollover
Right.
crash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wanda, that's for sure why I would look into natural remedies. And I'm not your chiropractor, but if I have middle back pain, I make sure I do a hot bath with Epsom salt. I make sure I ice. I take CBD from hemp. I take, magnesium for relaxing. There's
Mhm.
a lot of things out there, but I would say finding a great holistic chiropractor would be a good start.
Yeah. Okay. Any more questions or comments? I mean, this has been so good. I'm learning so much. And
I'm
I know
glad.
that you have somewhere that you need to be.
Yes, I
And
have an appointment. I have an appointment with her. I've got to drive about 25 minutes. But I don't want to go. I think I told her I would be there around 4:30. So I'll need to leave here in a minute. So if there's any other questions, I can wait a minute. I ran out of my water. That's my other dilemma. I ran out of
oh,
water.
not good. I'd share some of mine, but I don't think it'll go through the screen very well.
Osmosis. Osmosis.
Let's see. Tanya says, I just had a lumbar laminectomy and fusion on my spine 2 months ago. I suffered for chronic sciatic pain for 15 years and finally got some help. I have severe lower scoliosis, arthritis, etc.
Mm. I'm sorry to hear you had to have surgery. It's once you have the surgery, the fusion, a lot of the surgeons won't tell you, but you're gonna, depending on your age, you'll have another surgery in the next 5 to 10 years. If you do chiropractic can help to keep function and keep everything moving. But I just had to tell a patient this a month ago. She came in, she had a fusion at C5, C6 in her neck, and now they need to do surgery the level below it. And then I had another patient come in that had L5 in his low back, and now he has to have a surgery at L4. But most surgeons will not say, well, see you in 10 years. But the human body will start to use the level above the fusion as the new pivot point. You have to really kind of follow me here, Karma. The body is about physics. So when you isolate one segment, like an L5 or a C5 in the neck, and you lock it in with a fusion,
Mm-hmm.
the only choice it has to pivot is the level above or below. So over time, the one above the fusion and the one below the fusion will wear out. So it once you fuse it, it starts to have the level above or below. So I would recommend to whoever said that to make sure you have a great chiropractor to follow you as you heal. Now you cannot get adjusted in your body that area 6 months to 12 months after. So a chiropractor will not even touch you. Well, a great chiropractor would not touch you from 6 to 12 months. They will work on everything else, but not the region of the surgery.
That makes sense.
Because it takes 6 to 12 months to fully heal and fuse in that segment. So the chiropractic cannot be done. Like I had a patient that had to have a fusion and she had that done. I didn't touch it until months or more.
Okay. Jessica says, when I'm at the chiropractor, my back feels great, but when I go back home, it just goes back to hurting. I have arthritis in my lower back, and the space between the notches in my spine is little.
What's her question? Oh, she's just telling me so I can comment on it.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so if a chiropractic adjustment is not holding, that is because of something extra. Something else is happening. Either in my experience and in my opinion, there's something more going on with your health. Like it could be thyroid, it could be nutritional, It could be vitamin D, magnesium. The number one deficiency at our most recent training I went to in Dallas, they said the number one deficiency in America in women is magnesium, vitamin D, and B vitamins. So if the number one is magnesium, which is a muscle relaxer, number two, vitamin D, which is a healer, and number three, the B complex, which helps with energy cycles, I would say that you need to have a comprehensive blood panel done to include your thyroid, your vitamin D, all of those things, but talk to a doctor near you to get that ordered.
Okay. And this one from Wanda. Don't we all? I wish I was close enough to have you as my chiropractor. I really do.
Well, I can guide people, and I know that God will probably God's calling me or pulling me to be do consultations in my future. If I do consultations, it's basically me finding the chiropractor, telling the chiropractor, communicating on your behalf. I know that that could be like a chiropractic concierge of some degree. So
Mhm.
if I get that going, I will let you know, Karma.
Oh, that would be awesome. Um, Wanda would also like to know, can I email you to find out a little more depth of supplements? I started taking a lot instead of medicine.
Yes, but if you did that, I would have to consider it a consultation because that would make me your doctor if I start giving you advice. So we can talk about that. So
Okay.
my email, if you'd like to email me, ladies, gentlemen, is bakersark@gmail.com. So that's BAKERS, Bakers, A as in animal, R as in ranch, C as in care @gmail.com.
There's that email for you.
Thank you for typing that for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if I missed anything.
The lady that I just said that said she wasn't holding her adjustments, is that her saying that she does have hypothyroid and something something? It's right before I think I see the word hypothyroid.
No, that's a different lady.
Okay.
Um, well, hi, Dee. Welcome in. Um, Let me go back to her first comment. I'm going to take that email down. Okay.
I
Tanya.
actually did. Oh yeah, I can't read it. Go ahead.
Tanya says, I actually did go to a chiropractor, but it didn't help. I totally get what you are saying because I do have a bit of spinal pain higher up on my spine. I will have to relearn my gait through physio. Okay.
Okay. I would want to know why she thinks that chiropractic didn't help. What if it was helping and it was actually making changes functionally inside that she wasn't aware of? So that brings up a valid point. Chiropractic, the nerve, is 90% function and 10% pain. So if she was working on being with a chiropractor, you're working on function, the pain will go away with time. With, that's one of the first things I get rid of if we're doing it right. The next is function. So I would consider that maybe it was helping. It just needed to be joined with nutrition and physiotherapy.
Medicine as a whole is not one thing. You can't go to the doctor, be told what's wrong with you, and then be healed.
Right.
You have to act on what you're being told. If he writes you a prescription, you can't just take that slip of paper and be healed or be
That's right.
better. You have
That's
to
right.
go get the prescription filled. You can't just
Mm-hmm.
pick up that prescription and be healed. You have to take the medication.
Mm-hmm.
So, medicine is more than one thing. It's
Well,
a
and that's right. It's more than just it's not the medicine that's going to heal you. It's the process of the healing of the multiple things. Like it could be drinking your water every day, taking your vitamins every day. Another side note, never ever take your vitamins and your medicine at the same time. A lot of people don't realize that, but your vitamins actually cancel out when you take them with your medication. Your medication must be taken 2 hours apart from any vitamin supplementation. So if you take your thyroid medicine at 7 a.m., you can't take your vitamins until after 9 a.m. or they will not absorb in your body.
I didn't know that. I do that every day because I have a hard time remembering to even take my meds. So I just
Yeah.
put them all together and take everything.
Just put a reminder in your phone. Tell it, hey Siri, remind me to take vitamins at 10 a.m. So as long as you get them more than 2 hours after your medication. So our teacher in school, Dr. Ronald Grabowski, taught us the 2 hour rule means that your vitamins and your meds have to be split up so that they're not fighting to both go in at the same time, because the vitamins will lose and the medicine will win because the medicine has got chemical components.
Very interesting. Wow. If I haven't learned anything else at all today, that is the one thing that I definitely will take away from today's interview.
Yeah, they 2 hour rule, vitamins and medicine. Um, Anybody can fact check me on ChatGPT too, but I always make sure I take my vitamins with my lunch. So I don't take medicine. I don't take prescription medicine, but I always in the morning I do my tea, and then I take my breakfast, and then I'll take my vitamins usually with breakfast or lunch.
Okay. Um, Jessica is the one who was talking about she didn't feel like the chiropractic helped. And
Yes.
then she says, I do have hypothyroidism and low vitamin D. I'm on meds now.
Got it. That's why it's not holding. So until those levels are improved or until nutrition is improved, the muscles are contracting back. So you need probably to have evaluated, like, do I have low magnesium? Do I have low calcium? Like, what is your nutrition on the inside? Because if you have hypothyroidism, your body's already compromised because you basically stopped producing thyroid hormones because of a greater issue. So I would have you find a doctor or a functional doctor that can help you with those levels, and then yeah, go from there on. But chiropractic works. It's just that you have to have every component, the nutrition, the water, the food, all of the things have to be lined up for it to work perfectly. In Dallas at my seminar, I talked to one of the greatest doctors I've ever talked to, Dr. Jay Brock from Dallas, Texas. He said that chiropractic adjustment is a brain phenomenon that we will never fully understand, but it definitely works on the brain, thyroid, and the gut to create a relationship to heal the body. And I do agree, it's a brain phenomenon. We will never know how much an adjustment helps. I mean, I adjusted people this week that started crying, just bawling. People who laugh hysterically when I adjust them. Some people do fart when I adjust them. That's a normal process. But if the people are laughing hysterically and crying hysterically in relief, there has got to be something affecting the brain.
Mm-hmm. Just looking at some of these comments. Wanda, oh no, I didn't know that. I take mine together every day, but that's about to change tomorrow. And Joanne, knowledge is power. Wow, never knew that. Thank you, Dr. Lauren. Usually take my supplements along with meds.
No, they cancel out. They're gonna have a tug of war. They're gonna have a tug of war like this.
Changing that routine starting tomorrow.
Yes. No more fighting over which one's gonna win. Do you want the medicine to win or do you want the vitamins to win? I want both of them.
Right?
So
Yeah,
I'm not a big advocate of medicine. I'm not gonna lie. Like I didn't touch
yeah.
a medicine. I didn't take thyroid medicine, but not everybody knows that there is a different way. Thyroid health is dependent upon. Let me tell you what affects the thyroid. I'm going to tell you what affected my thyroid. You ready for this? It was sugar. It was sugar. I was living on jelly beans and I was living on nerds because I couldn't figure out why my body was failing me. Now, my doctor told me that my thyroid, my functional doctor told me my thyroid was sick because of parasites. So I did a huge deworming because of all the animals I work with. I got parasites in my body. And
Mm-hmm.
when I got rid of the parasites, my thyroid went choop, and it started working again.
And another one, Rebecca, touched by yarn. Beautiful, sweet lady. I need to let my brother know this because he takes his medication with his vitamins.
Yeah. So
Again,
sad.
biggest takeaways from today, I think, is going to be that little nugget of information.
Mhm.
It's probably one of the biggest. Dana Hall, another one. I start tomorrow also, Dr. Baker. Vitamins, 2 hours apart. Thank you. Like I said,
Yeah.
biggest nugget from the whole
Yeah.
you.
Um,
You know,
the vitamins do really good if you take them at nighttime. So like if you're going to take your magnesium, this is how I do it. Once again, I'm not diagnosing, but I take my magnesium at night. I
mhm.
take my probiotics at nighttime because when you're sleeping is when you need your body to be equipped with those nutritional supplements. It's hard during the day because your body has to do all the other things. So when you're sleeping is when you're actually absorbing a lot of those vitamins. I take 2 magnesium at nighttime. I take a probiotic. I take my minerals at nighttime. What else do I take at nighttime? I take my fish oil at nighttime. So all those things go in my belly to work at nighttime. I take them with dinner, and take them with dinner. Yeah.
I have certain ones that I'm supposed to take morning and night, and I have meds and supplements that you're supposed to take with a meal. And so I always take my meds in the morning and my supplements with breakfast.
Yes.
And the time always varies. And
Yeah, just
then
take your supplements as a snack. So have your supplements be your snack. So like say you eat breakfast at 8 a.m. and then your snack, say you have a snack at around 10:30, 11. Just have that be like a glass of, well, I do raw milk, so I don't know, but I do raw milk with my vitamins as my morning snack.
I'd have to be in the afternoon. My schedule is so weird. I don't ever get breakfast till between 10:30 and noon. And so then I don't ever eat again until dinner. But
What time is dinner usually?
between 6 and 7, 7:30. And then I have my nighttime pills anywhere between 9 and 11 at night. And that's when I take my pills and my vitamins again. So I'm going to have to really work on that and figure out how I can get them taken at a different, at an appropriate, at appropriate times.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about that another time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have
Couple,
to go. So okay, somebody has a
two
question
questions, and then we will end this. I know you've got to get going. These are the last two questions. Why wouldn't a doctor tell us this?
about the vitamins and the medicines 2 hours apart.
Yeah.
They don't know. They're not trained in vitamins. They just started. The new medical doctors coming out of schools are all trained in vitamins. But if the doctors were older, they might not have been trained that, or they didn't know. They don't realize that they're competing. But my doctor in college made sure he drilled that into us that people need to split that up. And he's
Okay.
writing a book right now. The doctor that taught me, it's going to be called Stress. I'll have to let everybody know when it comes out.
And can I ask what brand of probiotic you take?
Yeah, so I take probiotics in several two ways. Two ways. The first one I take is a probiotic called Ortho Molecular Probiotic 100 billion. If you're going to buy a probiotic, make sure it has billions, not millions. B as
Mm-hmm.
in boy, billions. Millions is nothing. Our gut has 300 trillion bacteria in it. There's no way you're taking millions is going to affect that. Number two, I take probiotics in the form of fermented foods. So every day I eat a fourth a cup of sauerkraut, fermented sauerkraut, or I eat kimchi. I recently started doing this, and I'll tell you, it's made a world of difference on my going to the bathroom.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so very much, Dr. Lauren.
Well,
This has
you're welcome.
been an eye opener, and it has been so much fun. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I would love to do this again sometime in the future. Uh,
Okay.
I think that enough people have been here, and now they know what to expect. I think that we will have an even larger audience, and they'll spread the word for sure. And we'll do this again. People can come. Maybe we can do just an hour of question and answer.
Yep.
Um, Maybe do this again in, say, 3 to 6 months. And
That sounds good. I think quarterly would be a great reasonable thing to do, because it wouldn't be, would be a great time to let people build some questions up.
okay, that sounds great. And I want to thank everybody that's been here in the chat. Without you, we don't have a show. I especially want to thank those of you who are watching on the replay. Um, you're so very, very important to both of our channels. We are co-streaming. This is the first time I've had an opportunity to do a co-stream for my Meet Me Mondays,
Hmm.
and it has worked out wonderfully, I think. And I plan to do this again in the future. If you would please, at the end of this, if you have not already, please hit the thumbs up. Go and hit the thumbs up on both channels if you would, please. That will help us both out. Leave a comment on both channels. Um, Let me know what your biggest takeaway is from today's interview. And maybe perhaps a little fact about Dr. Lauren that you found most fascinating. I know for myself, one of the most fascinating facts is the fact that she is um, a concert pianist. I think that is really, really interesting. And I would love to hear you play sometime.
I'll record it for you.
Okay, great. So, with that, I would like to let you know that I am going to be recording your thoughts for Thursday today. It would have normally come out today, but we had our lovely Dr. Lauren here today. I am aiming to have that out and ready for a premiere tomorrow. Um, and then I believe we will have a normal Meet Me Monday next week. And then uh, talk about it Tuesday at 3 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. And that is with my lovely co host, Glenda from Grace and Fire with Glenda. Please be there and come and find out what we're going to talk about. We always do a giveaway once a month, and you never know when that giveaway will be. It just might be this coming week. You never know. And I know for my channel, there will be a giveaway of some t-shirts. I'm not sure what Glenda has in store. So make yourself available for that and hope to see you there. Thank you again for being here. And go check out Dr. Lauren with Animal Ranch Care. We will see you again next time. Bye, guys.